In this video, we're gonna break down some of the best bar drills that I have learned for shaping and strength development so you can get better swings and cast and advanced level skills down the road. I'm gonna package those all up for you from the people that I've learned them from and show you some demos about the best things that you can use in your workouts. Before we do this though, we have to make sure we give our giveaway every week. We are doing more entries to automatically win SHIFT Symposium tickets. Last month, we gave away one set. It was very, very well received. So we're doing another one and a bonus gift on top of this. So if you drop down to the comments section and you enter hashtag 24shift in the first 24 hours of the video coming out, you'll be automatically entered to win not only a free set of 3-day tickets to the symposium, and there's gonna be a bonus on top of that, which we will share when the announcement comes down at the end of the month. So also, if you're back new to the channel for the first time, make sure you hit the notification bell, make sure you hit the subscribe button, because every time we put out new videos, you wanna be eligible to enter that giveaway, but you also wanna hear this stuff right away so you can use it in training as soon as we hear it, okay? So let's dive into why you came. All right, so the first one that I really like here is actually gonna be super basic, right? I really love just doing these wall shaping drills. These are so fun and so easy to do because they don't require a lot of space. They don't require a lot of setup. They don't require a lot of instruction, right? All we're doing here is really working on the fall shape here for a swing and body tension, right? So this is just a very good version we talk about here on the top with a little bit of a hands on the wall, feet on the ground version, but you can also do these in many different ways, shapes, and forms. So here we have the same drill, but now we're flipped around so our hands are open backwards, and then we can flip these over and do them on hands and feet too as well. So feet are up on the wall, hands are down here. And really what we're doing is just try to expose them to different shapes that are going to show up in different skills on bars. So you might see this one show up in an arch giant tap. You might see the handstand one on a fall position, right, coming down from a high bar. You might see a backwards one here coming on some of the most advanced release skills, or when they're coming through the bottom of a bar to tap for a flyaway, right? We really want to understand that somebody knows how to create lots of body tension. They can keep their ears covered. They can also really understand how to have that long shape through the bottom of a giant or a tap, or that stacked position when they're on top for a handstand, right? So here's what we're gonna do is just 10 seconds of each of these, maybe 2 sets through, 10 seconds of the fall shape, 10 seconds of this backward one, 10 seconds of the feet on the wall, and then 10 seconds of the bridge on the wall, right? Just 10, 10, 10, 10 is really easy to do in a warm-up or as a side station. Common errors we sometimes see with this is we're gonna see someone's head come out. Taylor does a really good job here of closing her ears completely, making sure those ears are covered, making sure the body is long and she's pushing up through her shoulder blades. We also don't wanna see a hip angle, right? We see a really good job here doing where those hips are nice and tucked under. We don't really have the hips piking out as well, because that's obviously going to be a little bit of a funny tap swing when we try that on the real bar. And the last thing we want to make sure we're encouraging is body tension, right? Maximal body tension. So really tuck the hips under, really flex the quads, really push long through the shoulders, and try to really get yourself as far away from the wall as possible. Move those feet back if you need to really get as long as you can through that shape. I really love this drill. It's just a basic fundamental starting point. All right, number 2, we're gonna do something as a hollow lower, okay? So many people have seen this as a core exercise, but I actually think they double as a really great shoulder exercise as well to try to make sure we're developing the arms for bar kipping and bar casting and a lot of the power needed in the upper body. So the first thing I'll say here is that this is a very hard version of this, okay? So this is kind of what I want to show as maybe the gold standard, but for most athletes, this might be way too hard to start for. So what you need to do is maybe bend their knees a little bit, or maybe give them a spot to make sure they can go all the way down slow and all the way back up. I really like doing about 5 reps of these, 2 to 3 sets, maybe a 3-second lower, 3-second up a couple times per week, because they're phenomenal for core development. They're phenomenal for shaping development. And like I said, they also have that bonus of developing the shoulders as well. If you don't have a springboard, you can easily do this on a bar base or the rig of a weight training system as well. Anything you have that's sturdy and stable. Stall bars are a great way to do this as well. But man, these are one of the easiest things that you can do to develop strength, and are really scalable to athletes, right? Again, tuck those knees. Do it with a nice spot, do it with a band assistance, whatever somebody needs to make them go really, really slow. And the errors that we're gonna see on this one is gonna be if someone's doing a version that's too hard, right? That's one of the errors I just talked about before. You're gonna see a big arch in their lower back. So we don't wanna give them a version that's too hard. We don't wanna give them something that's gonna make them arch their back. You wanna look out to make sure someone's not doing momentum, that they're kind of going down and up really fast off the bottom. Slow, lower, hold, slow on the way up. That's really what we wanna see. That's gonna get that great shaping, that great core strength, and also that great upper body strength as well. So I really love that one to do as well. The third one I need to kind of give somebody some suggestions for is a little bit of a cast handstand lean, okay? So when we do sort of cast handstand drills, what we're trying to encourage someone to do is understand how to balance leaning their shoulders over their hands so that their feet can be unweighted for a cast handstand or some sort of casting drill. This first version up here I like because it kind of takes the strength element out of it a little bit and just lets someone play around with truly learning where that balance point is. How far do I have to lean my shoulders over my hands to get my hips up over my head and stacked? So if you're looking to just teach someone the fundamental concept of leaning over their hands, this jumping version is really, really good on floor. Low risk, low space demand. and also allow someone to really kind of play around with that back and forth. If you want to go on the other side and you want someone to really learn the strength piece of it, this slider version is very good. So somebody now has to press their way into it. The sliders give them a little bit of an assist, so it's not a dead stop press, but it also forces them to really find that balance point of where do my shoulder strength kicking in to lean over and hold my body weight out so that my feet are unweighted, and then I can kind of press up into my handstand. There's so many really good benefits of this slider version. This is why I picked it, because you get that shoulder strength, you get that lean component from above, but also you get lower core strength development and a little bit of extra pressing strength. So it's a lot of really good things in one. And again, only need a couple sliders. You could even do it with socks on a hardwood surface. Doesn't have to be super elaborate setup. I like drills that are easy for all athletes to do. Maybe they need a little bit of a spot, but they're not going to require a ton of setup and a ton of time away. It's just a very easy thing to do on a side station or in a warm up. So I really like these. Couple things to look out for. Number one is that the head pokes out. We want to try to make sure the ears stay covered as much as possible. They're really doing a good job there. We don't want the hands to go too wide, because sometimes when the hands are wide, they're looking to do that because it's easier range of motion wise. But obviously if your hands are really wide on bars, it doesn't get optimal for skill development in casting when you actually transfer this over to the rails. And the third thing to look out is that someone is jumping up a little bit too early off these sliders. We want to make sure those feet come as far in as possible and get maximal compression, because that's going to transfer really well over to the bar when somebody has to keep their shins close and not fall over before they can actually find their balance point. So these are super great drills to add in as well. And then four, everybody knows there's some sort of compression needed in strength wise for bars. So I really like doing tucks or V-lifts, and Taylor included these from her gym. And I wanted to show these ones specifically because I often find people are either starting on a high bar and they're letting the athlete swing all over the place, or they're doing a version that is way too hard, right? I think most people want to start with a tucked version. So for really, really little ones or young ones, this tucked version is great. Simply doing a tuck up and a tuck down, that could be it right there. Just doing a tuck up and a tuck down, right? Just really learning how to compress and hollow in that body. The next progression to do is, which is the one I like here, is to go tuck up all the way and then a slow lower in straight legs. And again, shout out to Taylor for giving us this video, but tucking up all the way, straightening, and then going all the way down nice and slow. This is a great version for someone who's kind of in between. They can't, do a full leg lift with a nice slow stop, but they also are way past a tuck version. This helps them kind of train a little bit of the middle ground of both. Now, obviously the gold standard is going to be a full leg lift with nice pauses on the way down, doing them on the stall bar with a nice pause of about, halfway down and then 90 degrees as well. So we want to see someone who can go all the way up, pause, and then come down at 90, pause, and then go all the way back down. That really is what we're working for, right? So 8 to 10 reps is pretty good. 2 to 3 sets in our strength circuit or maybe a side station. Maybe about 3 seconds on the way up and 3 seconds on the way down. Okay, so common errors we're going to see here, like I just said, is we're going to have someone who goes way too hard, way too fast. They go all the way straight legs up and down, and they're arching their back, right? So those two errors are typically coming together, and it goes with the third one as well, which is they're not doing a slow lower, right? If it's too hard for the athlete and they're arching their back and they're going really fast on the way down, kind of defeats the purpose of the exercise. So let's make sure we pick one that's right for them. They're doing it with a nice slow technique, and they're really doing it with a nice compressed piece at the bottom. And then last one, my all-time favorite, which many people might be familiar with, but I love this one, is just some compression rolls on panel mats, okay? So these are super, super great exercises to combine a lot of the things that we're talking about and get a lot of these basics to show up at once, right? So doing a nice slow compression roll helps us with that head drive and helps us with that lower core strength. Getting the hands down quick, leaning the shoulders over the hands also helps out quite a bit as well. Then of course, we're gonna work on that lean to get those hips up for a cast handstand. So these drills are great because you get lower core compression, you get that weight shifting, you get some press handstand development, and you can work their way up to more advanced versions of this that are much, much harder. So 5 reps is pretty good. I like doing about 2 sets, maybe 1 to 3 seconds. We also want to make sure that we're not looking out for things that are maybe too low to start with, right? If we put someone way down on the floor or way down on a half a panel mat to start and they hit their feet right away, there's really no progression being made there. Make sure you have enough stacked mats where you're actually seeing someone get their heels to clear. They can actually get some compression all the way through. The second thing is they're not using their hands down to the mat fast enough, right? They're not getting their hands to rip through and put them down, so they kind of let their hips stay all the way back. Really focus the cue on getting the hands through fast and down to the mat fast, so that can allow the shoulders and the head to be then tucked in. And then the last thing we want to see is we want to make sure someone is really leaning far over their hands and learning that balance point of hip lift before they just roll. It's easy to roll down the mat and just do that, for fun, but it's not really teaching the fundamental shaping that we're looking for. So hope those are really, really helpful. And of course, if you are a gymnastics coach and you know about this, if we have the medical symposium and the coaching symposium and the strength and conditioning symposium all back to back this year, right? So we're doing 3 days in a row, 30 expert speakers, 30 gymnastics lectures. We're going to talk about bars, vault, beam, rings, pommel horse. There's 2 separate men's and women's tracks on the second day here for the coaches. So if you're a gymnastics coach, you really want to make sure you sign up. You're going to get lifetime access. You'll get all the handouts. You'll get all the PDF lectures. You get all the Q&A sessions with our expert speakers to ask about clarification. And you want to make sure you sign up because we're going to get all these things compressed into a nice 3-day package for you. Save yourself all the time and all the headaches of driving around in hotels and things like that. So the link is down below in the description if you want to check it out and sign up for that. But if you enjoyed the video, you can also just kind of hop in here and make sure you possibly win those symposium tickets. Got down and go 24shift, hashtag 24shift is going to be your entry to automatically win a ticket symposium, but also just a free gift we're giving away with that at the end of the month. And then also make sure you turn on your notifications and you also subscribe to the channel, because that's how you're going to know when the new information comes out, and you can either have more shots at the symposium giveaway, or you can just find this access information quickly to put it right into your training program. So hope you guys all enjoyed this.